I am holding a very old and not so healthy kitty. Yes, Jacoby. It's okay. You're 19 years young. Yes, you are. You're 19 years young. Just remember that. And of course, Jack and I have just watched the movie Z, which is the latest in a long, proud Hollywood history of horror movies about children with imaginary friends that turn out not to be imaginary. Ugh. This is not a bad movie by any means. It is getting a awesome Rotten Tomatoes score of 95%, and the IMDb is 5.6 out of 10, which is a pretty solid score for a horror movie. Google users are giving it a 73. The fact that this movie is kind of a ripoff of Lights Out and really a lot of basically cliche things thrown together is not bad. There's nothing wrong with cliches. There's nothing wrong with horror movie tropes and seeing the same thing over again if they're done well. Problem is, though, that I enjoyed the film, but I knew where it was going most of the time, and it doesn't bring anything terribly interesting to the genre. Also, there is a bath scene where the most attractive female in the film gets totally naked, gets in the bath, and you see absolutely nothing. And then, again, I did not find the film terribly satisfying. There is sort of a transitional point somewhere in the second act where this film starts to go nuts. And it starts to have something of an identity crisis, and then you just go, well, okay, I have to kind of accept that amnesia is part of the script there, and that this is a cheesy horror movie, and I shouldn't think too much about it, which ruined a really good concept. But up until that point, it's a really good movie, and the scares are solid. And the reality of the film, I don't know. There's something here that is kind of missing, and that is the greater concept. It's one of those things that comes into films quite a lot. It's like, look, if Freddy Krueger exists, why aren't there others? If Jason Voorhees exists, why aren't there others? This is the thing. Creatures don't come out of a vacuum. So, Dana, other key clawing me. Okay, yes. Ugh. She's got a wet bottom. Anyway, so as I was saying, yeah, this is a solid horror movie if you're not a big fan of the genre and you don't watch a lot of these films. It is a straight horror movie without the Freudian undertones of a lot of the slasher films, which is kind of typical of it being a kid's movie. I don't find it particularly great. I don't find it particularly terrible. Again, certainly an enjoyable movie. Put it on your watch list. If you're into horror films or it's approaching Halloween, this is a great film for you. But again, if you're hoping for something awesome and spectacular and inspiring, that's just not what this movie is. It is a solid entry into the horror genre. Definitely a good film. Well shot, well executed. You don't see much of the monster, and what you do see is pretty solidly scary. But again, there's sort of this hole in the plot where they've put amnesia. And you ask yourself, if this has been a thing, and it's been a thing for that long, how is it nobody knows about it? I mean, you go on the internet and you find black-eyed children and tales of hauntings and all those things. Nowadays, it is really hard for things to exist, even ghost stories to exist in a vacuum. So where's the lore here? Where's the underlying mythos? What is really happening? That's what I would have liked to have seen from this film. And again, maybe they'll fill in that with a sequel. I just would have liked the film more if there was a greater continuity to the story. It's just me, and I'm kind of a nitpicker. So yeah, I mean, Z, fine horror film. Not genre changing in any by any means, but definitely not a terrible film. But that's just my opinion. I'd love to hear yours down in the comments below. I'm Richard.
Greetings, capitalist pigs! Cannot see the blood of my enemies Borgoth, reminding you to like and comment on this video. And you can find more of me on the Power Sister Horsies exclusively on Absurd TV. Directed by Mark Schaefert.